G'day and welcome to another G'day and welcome to another episode of the Aussie Tools. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nathan. So today we're going to be working on this. It's an old Molbico Echo 302 chainsaw. Got this a while back. It ran fine with just a carburetor clean up, but all of a sudden I went to start it. It started like for maybe half a second and then stopped, and every pull after that it'd throw a bunch of fuel out the exhaust, so I'm suspecting a stuck float or whatever this has for a fuel pump. So let's get into it. Okay, so you can see we've got it on the bench now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually just going to pull off this air cleaner so we can get to the carburetor. So here's the carburetor. Looks like it just takes 2 flatheads to take it out. You're a bit of a flathead.
That's what I'm
supposed to mean. Oh, can't lose that down the little spacer. There's only one spacer. Could you?
Only one washer? Yeah, right.
Washer. Okay, so we've got that back on there. Gonna pull the choke out. Oh, I suppose we just pull this. Have to pull this off first. Get that over there. Just put this to the side here. That'll do. And now, so I don't know if you can, right there. Chainsaw, that's the, for the fuel. Don't know why I said chainsaw, but that's for the fuel there. That's the fuel line. Right now, out of fuel, otherwise it'd actually be leaking. So I'm just going to pull this off. Now we can pull it out. If I ever get this out, I will fix it. Okay, so now we can put this to the side. You're going to want a pan or tray to put this in. Here we go, we've got this. First, we're going to pull this off because this is the fuel pump side. And just under the fuel pump is the bit that regulates the fuel for stopping and going. You got to be careful because on these older engines with carburetors, there's a fuel diaphragm in there, and sometimes they get pretty stiff, which is a bad thing. You don't want that. Yeah. But they can rip easy if they're older, so you just got to be careful. See, that one's very sort of perished and old. Still good enough because it's still soft. That's how you know it's good. Now, in between this and the metal, there's a gasket on the bottom side. So if you can, just need to be very gentle and careful. Probably get a smaller flathead than I've got. So I've got this small skinny. Just going to carefully, if we can. Now I'd say this one probably needs replacing if you have it. But right now, we're just going to fix the fuel leak. There we go. Oh, there's a bit of crud there. I don't know if that's from me scraping, but there it is. That pulses up and down, and with this pulses up and down, just like this, creating a pump sort of action to pump the fuel up into here, and then comes out. There's a hole in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hole in there that it comes out of once this gets pumping. So right now we're going to take this small flathead out, and that will release the needle, the pin that holds this all together. Okay, so that just came apart more than I thought, just from that little bit, but lucky I've got a magnet. So that pin goes through there and then hooks under that and goes up and down. So this is the part that I suspect is stuck, and it was a bit greasy coming out, felt a bit slimy. So I think this is gummed up. You can see, sort of looks like a bullet. There's nothing on the tip of that, but we're gonna get some carby cleaner, spray it right down there. So the fuel comes in, goes into this hole, and then this, once it's pushed down, stops the fuel coming in. Once it goes back out, let some fuel, and I suspect it's stuck all the way out. So get some carby cleaner and a tray to put this in so it doesn't leak everywhere. So now let's get some carby cleaner, preferably with a small straw in it so we can really get down in there. And spray that right out. That should be coming out the fuel side. This bit. If I can get it in there. See that? Coming right out there. Pretty sure I just done that once or twice. Sorry about that. Alright, so we know that's cleared out. We'll just spray a bit in there to get any gunk out. And spray a bit down that hole I was telling you about, if you can find that hole. Try to spray it the direction that hole's pointing so you get the most in it. And then we're going to spray this and this. And now, make sure your hands are clean. You don't want any gunk on it that you've already got on it, that you just cleaned off. And now, same way you pulled it apart, gonna try to put it back together. Alright, now we can put this back together. This needle goes in first. See, that's seating a lot further. That was actually stuck open, I'm guessing. We will put the spring back. Oh. You might need a set of small pliers. Lucky I've got small fingers. Oh, that needs to come back out. Small little bevel. Put this back in through. Put this back. Make sure you get it under that needle. There you go, just like that. Make sure it moves freely. Now you're gonna tighten this screw back up. Oh, we forgot one crucial part. The spring. Spring you. Be very careful, don't pinch it. There you go. Would you look at that? I just messed it up. Tighten it down real quick. I've definitely got that spring in the wrong place. Let's see here. Nope. Got it perfect. That goes up and down. Let's see here if I did that right. Tightness. You don't want it too tight because you remember it's just holding that in place, that's all that's doing. Make sure that goes up and down, which right now it's doing. So this part with the metal holes and that bit, that goes down, and that hole goes into that right there. You can see it's rubbed on it a bit. Line up the screw holes with the gaps in the thing. Get this, make sure it's not dirty on the seal or anything, because then you won't get a proper seal. You might want to put 1 or 2 bolts in it just to make sure it doesn't move around after it's there. These into the same tightness. Tighten them all down. Not too tight, just enough to get a good seal on the gasket. Alright, so now it's all back together. Now we can bring in the chainsaw again. I might just give that surface a bit of a clean up. Make sure I get it to go out instead of falling into the engine. Just that down. It's nice and clean. When you pull it off, you're going to make sure that's still intact. That's not busted out or anything. This one looks like it's fine. Just inspect it and it's good to go in. Nothing wrong with it. Now on this particular one, you've got to line up these before you line up the fuel thing. So you've got to push these in. And then sort of at the same time, put these bolts in. Just to guide me to know where the holes are. Nearly got it. There we go. Now these bolts. Push that in, get this bolt down. There you go, it's going in a lot easier. Now we tighten these up. And then you're going to tighten it down. Not too much, just again to squeeze that gasket a bit to get a good seal. Make sure they're both nice and snug. And I actually forgot to put this back on. So, looks like I've got to pull it apart again. We're not going to do that. I'm going to get the small screwdriver. Fish that out before that goes into the engine, because that will be catastrophic failure. I forgot to loosen this one a bit. Oh, there you go. Just get it there. Oh, don't be a meanie. There you go. You probably want to do that before you put these bolts in, but there you go. I did it just then. Now I've got to put nearly forgot to put this on before I tightened it all up. I might need to pull it off again because I'm not very smart nowadays. Oh, looks like that rubber bent enough. A bit further. Right, now that opens and closes, I'll just tighten it up.
What he means is tighten them up until the bolts snap.
works fine. Fuel line's on. That's not going to leak. That's good. Alright. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put some fuel in it and we'll meet you out there. Alright, so we're out here with the chainsaw. We've got a full tank of fuel in it and put the air cleaner back on. So now we're going to try to start this up, see if we can get it running. You want to do the others?
Yeah, why not?
Alright, it's all ready.
Choke.
Yeah, just a bit. A bit. Yep.
Choke.
Yep.
You say more choke?
As you can see, it runs great. The only problem is, young Nathan.
I forgot to hook up the throttle, so when he pressed the throttle, it pushed it, and it didn't want to push it back. So I nearly got a runaway chainsaw there. That would be awesome. So this is actually one of my favourite chainsaws, so I'm actually happy we got it fixed, but I'll get the throttle fixed and maybe we can cut through a tiny log.
Yep.
Alright, so got that throttle pieced back together, and now I'm going to start it and see how well she cuts. Right, so that's how you fix a chainsaw that's got way too much fuel coming out the exhaust and no starting issue. I hope that helps some of you out. It was just a short one, but if you like content like this, you could check out some of our old videos. We do some willet starts on some old boat motors and stuff, but hope that helped you. Hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yep, and turn on the post notifications so you can be sure you can see every video we post.